Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Minnesota.
Dozer hit 3 more home runs last night, 3, to give him 38 for the season. That's the most homers by a Twins player since 1970 when Harmon Killebrew hit 41. It has been an incredible run. What will Dozer do tonight? It's tough to follow up a triple tater, but we'll watch and we'll find out as the Twins and the Royals play Game 2 of this 3-game series. Good evening from Target Field. I'm Marnie Gellner. It's been absolutely incredible to watch Brian Dozier these last couple of months. Even Paul Molitor said you just don't see runs like this from anyone. The home runs just keep on coming. But what part of this crazy outburst has been most impressive? Let's go around the horn and find out. Roy Smalley, what stands out to you the most during this Dozier surge?
Marnie, I've seen a lot of home runners getting some pretty hot streaks. I've watched Kirby Puckett. I've watched Don Mattingly. Lots of home run hitters get in home run streaks, and they all have the same element. When they get pitches that show up that should be hit out of the ballpark, they hit most of them. They don't miss them. They don't pop them up. They don't foul them back. They hit a lot of them. Brian Dozier the same way, but it just feels like he's not missing any of them. He's not hitting most of them. It looks like he's hitting all of them, and it's been remarkable. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. How about you, Dick?
Well, it's always home run hitters. When they hit home runs, they say they're not trying to hit them, and yet that from up here is exactly what we've seen. It doesn't seem like Brian's trying to hit them. The swings that he puts on the ball are the same, whether they're a double to right field or a home run to left. And it's a cliche, I know it, but the impression I get from Brian is that he's not trying to hit home runs, but he's hitting them in bunches. Anthony?
I think what's most amazing is when you look at the point from which he came. This season looked like it might be a lost campaign for Dozier. Back in mid-May, he was hitting 199 with 4 home runs, 160th out of 164 qualifying players in batting average, 137th in home runs. And yet now we're talking about a guy that in the same season has reached a number of 38 home runs. Nobody can touch what he's done since, and he's got a chance to become the first Twin to lead the league in home runs since 1969. Bert, what stands out most to you?
Well, thank you, Anthony. Yeah, you know what? Everybody talking about the home runs. What about the batting average? My goodness, 3 years ago, Brian Dozier hit a season high 244. He's hitting 279 right now. What he has been able to do and listen to his pitching, to his hitting coaches, Tom Bernansky, Rudy Hernandez, they have to take a lot of pride in what Brian Dozier's not only doing as far as power, but what he's doing with his average. Remember, he's also driven in 91 runs, Marnie. So Brian Dozier putting together a great year.
It's been absolutely incredible. Dozier's also homered in 8 of his last 10 games against the Royals. Tonight, all eyes will be on Dozier's at-bats and on tonight's starter, Irvin Santana, hoping to stay steady tonight against the Kansas City Royals at Target Field.
presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us.
Couple losses at home in a row for the Twins, and they need to get back in the win column, and they've got their ace on the mound. Irvin Santana going for the Twins against right-hander Dylan G of the Kansas City Royals. And we welcome you to Target Field. Dick and Bert with you for Game 2 of this 3-game series. Paul Molitor talked this afternoon about the little extra bounce in everybody's step when Irvin Santana is pitching for the Twins. Everybody in uniform feels they got a really good chance to win.
Yeah, when you come to the ballpark and you're not pitching, you're not Irvin Santana, you do feel good who's on that mound. Why? Because of what Santana's been able to do, especially over his last 13 starts. 6 wins, very good earned run average, a lot of quality starts, 9 out of the 13. He needs another one here tonight. Twins need a victory.
He won his last time out, even though he didn't have his good stuff. Twins have only beaten the Royals twice this year. They're hoping number 3 comes tonight. Overcast skies. We had a shower about a half hour ago, but we're hoping for uninterrupted baseball tonight. And the Twins need to get back in the win column to get back to the 500 mark early in the month of September. And they really need to start beating the Royals. Everybody knows they're the team to beat in the American League Central, and the Twins have not, to this point, done a very good job of doing that.
Well, for the 4th time, it'll be Santana facing the Kansas City Royals. Some of these guys were his former teammates back in 2013.
1-0 to Gerard Dyson. Lorenzo Cain still not physically able to start a ball game for the Royals with a bad wrist, and now inside 2-0. Santana struggled in his last start against the White Sox. He got the win, but he pitched 5 innings, 11 hits, and miraculously only 2 runs allowed. And now he falls behind Dyson 3-0. That was one of the issues. A lot of pitches, some deep counts, falling behind, and he walked 5 men in that start. Or 2 men. 5 men in the prior start. There's a strike. 3-1. So the last couple starts haven't been razor sharp like we've seen him.
Well, you're not going to be razor sharp every time out. You know, they're going to stick a quarter in him. He's going to throw the ball over the plate. He's a guy that has to hit his spots. Right here, you got to make him swing the bat, and he does. Dyson hitting the ball sharply, but right at Buxton. So no free passes. Make him swing the bat.
And the Royals hoping to put a late run together to get back into the postseason for the 3rd straight year. The Menards batting order for the Royals: Dyson leading off, Paulo Orlando batting second, then Eric Hosmer, Kendricks Morales,
Salvador Perez, Alex Gordon, Chesler Cuthbert, Alcides Escobar, and then Raul Mondesi Jr.
There's Irvin's numbers right there, making his 26th start of the year, his 4th against the Royals, looking for his first win against the Royals.
Down the middle, strike one to Paulo Orlando.
He's had 2 very good starts against the Royals, both of them in Kansas City. The hiccup was here in Minnesota. So he's looking to redeem himself a little bit where he has struggled here in Minnesota, a little bit more than on the road.
Missing inside, 1-1. Chris Siegel flinched a little bit, but the count is even. Orlando's 2 for 2 against Santana. Offered at it, 1-2.
Good slider right there. Santana with the fastball, 4-seam, 2-seam. They look at the umpires. Chris Siegel is behind the plate. Ted Barrett, the crew chief, behind the plate last night at third base.
1-2 to Orlando. Tapper wide of third, behind Mike Jerschley, the third base coach.
Kansas City, good hitting ball club. They come in hitting .262 as a ball club. That's 6th best in the American League. It's a good team effort. No one guy really stands out. It was Morales last year when he drove in 106 runs, but it's a good team.
Breaking ball, that wicked slider that seems to be Santana's strikeout pitch, and he just struck out Orlando with it. 2 down. That'll bring up Hosmer. The Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Eddie Rosario in left, Byron Buxton in center, Max Kepler in right. Escobar getting third base, Polanco, Dozier up the middle, Plouffe at first, Suzuki behind the plate, Mauer the designated hitter.
Yeah, Santana's last start in Kansas City back in August, he did strike out 10 in that ball game. Yeah, it was that 1-0 loss to Danny Duffy, who's starting here tomorrow afternoon. That was a good, well-pitched game by both guys.
And for the purpose of our benefit of our viewers, it is tomorrow night.
Yes,
tomorrow night. Final game of the series. 1 strike to Hosmer. And now 1-1.
That's a changeup right there by Santana. He'll use that. He has a confidence in that as much as the slider. That's more of a strikeout pitch, as you mentioned, Dick. But the 4-seam fastball, the 2-seam fastball. This more the 4-seam fastball. You want to get it inside to Hosmer. See where Suzuki's set up?
Foul back.
And that ball went right toward the glove. That's control. That's his outing on August 21st in Kansas City. He pitched well. 2 runs, just 1 earned run, with the season high 10 strikeouts.
That was the game that completed the 4-game sweep that sent the Twins on their way to a 13-game losing streak in August. And Hosmer takes 2-2. I talked with Santana after his last start, and he said he knew it when he left the bullpen before he threw his first pitch that it was going to be a struggle. I don't know how you know these things. You've had it happen to you, I'm sure. He just didn't feel comfortable.
Got to be honest with you, the older I got, I didn't want a good bullpen.
Oh, is that right?
It made me concentrate more out there that I didn't have good stuff, and I think it helped Santana. Even though he threw 102 pitches into 5 innings, he battled in that outing. He did give up a season high 11 hits, but a couple walks, 6 strikeouts, a couple wild pitches in that ball game. But he got the win as the Twins ended up beating the White Sox 8-5.
3-2. And Hosmer takes a walk. And that'll bring up Morales. Tonight's cold hard facts are brought to you by the Silver Bullet, clean, crisp Coors Light. And since June 19th, Kyle Hendricks of the Cubs, Maddox-like with a 1.28 ERA, then Corey Kluber and Irvin Santana right there in terms of the lowest ERA. And I think you have to credit Santana in his last start to feel as terrible as he said he felt, and yet the numbers were, by any standard, particularly the standards set by the Twins rotation this year, the numbers were pretty good. 2 runs in 5 innings.
Yep.
1 strike to Morales. pulled foul, 2 strikes.
You know, Dick, sometimes we look at, say, Barrios or Duffy, guys that maybe have Barrios, has 10 major league starts, Duffy maybe 20, Gibson less than 100. Sometimes, you know, you look at Santana, I'm sure when he was younger, when he first came up to the big leagues, he struggled like those guys did, but you know, 339 starts now. He's got an idea what he's trying to do.
An 0-2 pitch hit a long way to right field, and it's 2-0.
Morales hit a big 3-run home run in yesterday's ball game, and that slider really didn't slide. It slid right into the bat of Morales. So a walk with 2 outs and then a 2-run home run gives the Royals an early 2-0 lead.
Fans are still coming into the gate in right field to watch the game, and Morales just hit the baseball out the gate.
Well, watch his slider right here. It just hung too much over the plate. Morales.
Come on, get out. Get out.
The ball went out of the ballpark.
Yep, on 1 hop. Here's Perez, and the pitch popped up to center. And Buxton comes in a couple of steps. A 2-out walk and a mistake on an 0-2 pitch. And just like that, the Royals have a 2-0 lead.
Three more runs and then those homers, and would have tasted a lot better at the end of the day if you know you won the game. That's first thing first. But hitting 3 homers in the game, it is pretty cool. I guess it is a different level kind of. Max Kepler did it, and it just feel like he hit 6 homers that game. It just seemed like every ball was out of. I hate that it had to come in a loss, but it's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, you feel the good with the bad right there. You know, Brian wants to win in the worst way. Yeah, he's on a hot streak. My goodness, is he on a hot streak? But yeah, you want to win. That's the bottom line.
Kepler hit 3 in a game. The Twins beat the Indians in Cleveland, but Dozer last night with 3 in a game. A Twins player doing it at home for the first time. Kind of figured that Dozier was not going to get me over fastball on the first pitch from Dylan G. And everything he's seen so far has had a lot of spin on it.
I think I would have to say the scouting report on Brian is do not miss middle in, because he will hit it a long way. And Perez see a little pinky right there away. Look at him jump out.
And unbelievable! I can't believe it. Number 39. Can't remember the last time I stood and clapped, but that, my goodness.
You know, Roy Smalley said, you know, everything that he swings at when he's ready to swing, he is not missing right now. And my, oh my, wow.
And now Polanco squares and takes ball 1.
I mean, you saw Perez kind of hop over to the left-handed hitter's batter's box. Give it to me in a way. And G threw it pretty much letter high where Brian likes it.
1-1. Paul Molitor said this afternoon, so we were debating in the media sessions, can Brian Dozier hit 30 in a season? And that was just 2 weeks ago. Now we're looking at the very strong likelihood he's going to hit 40.
Incredible. Incredible. Great to be here to witness it.
2-1 to Polanco. And now 3-1. So breaking ball away, and you throw a fastball over the plate, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, that's not what Perez wanted, but Brian Dozier will take that mistake.
Polanco squirts one up the line. Cuthbert bare hands and fires not in time.
Well, watch Perez right here as he gives the sign. Now, G's behind in the count. He shook Perez off. Okay, let's go fastball away. Look where Perez is sitting. And the ball left up. And Brian delivered again.
Second deck. Last night he hit one on all 3 decks in left field. And now Joe Mauer. Mauer, the designated hitter, with the tying run at first. Outside corner. And right now the Twins need 30 home runs in the remaining 24 games, counting tonight's game, to hit the 200 mark. But Brian Dozier only needs 1 more to hit the 40 home run mark. 1 strike. Grounder to second. Mondesi to Escobar, and a double play. 2 down.
Yeah, Joe with those sore quads just couldn't get down that line. A good double play turn behind Dylan G, making his 13th start of the year. So G gets his 9th double play turn behind him.
Menard's batting order for the Twins. Brian Dozier's already homered. Polanco singled. Then Mauer, Plouffe, Kepler, Escobar, Suzuki, Rosario, and Buxton.
And Dylan G making his 4th start against the Twins, his 5th appearance. He did pitch out of the bullpen earlier this year. 1 win, 2 losses against the Twins with a 5.40 ERA.
At the knees, a strike to Plouffe. Plouffe with 11 home runs. Down and away, 1-1. G working quickly. A high drive to left center field.
We got a tie ball.
We have a tie ball game. Plouffe hits number 12. Someone needs to come up with a nickname for this team that seems destined to hit 200 home runs. The Minnesota Lumber Company was used back in the late 70s, but these guys are muscling up and hitting home runs at a record pace.
Brian Dozier and Trevor Plouffe, they are such close friends, and you can see a pat on the behind right there by Brian to Trevor. And you see your friend hitting all these home runs, you'd like to get and join the party.
Yeah.
Well, Trevor just did with his 12th home run.
And now Kepler back in the lineup after a 5 strikeout game a couple games ago. Got yesterday off. And up high, 1-1.
Those home runs allowed by Dylan G in 106 2/3 innings now. That was home run number 20 and 21 allowed.
Nearly hit him. 2-1. Yeah, G's been kind of a swing man. In fact, his most recent outing was a relief outing earlier this month. To the right field corner, and Kepler has a base hit. It is a single, the 4th hit of the first inning. G's faced 5 men and retired just 1. Northland 4 defense for the Royals. They're very good in left, very speedy in center, very speedy in right.
Cuthbert, Escobar left side of the infield. Mondesi, Hosmer on the right side. And Perez, best catcher in the American League, behind the plate. Handed an early 2-0 lead. It didn't last long. And now Eduardo Escobar getting the start at third base. Miguel Sano not in the starting lineup tonight. Up and away, ball one.
Yeah, G made his first start here in Minnesota back in late May, where the Twins beat him up a little bit. 4 innings, 5 runs allowed. Then in August, here again, Twins beat him up 5 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Then the next start, he pitched a good ball game against the Twins in KC.
Hit hard but foul.
Dylan G, 30 years old, in his first season with the Royals. Signed a minor league contract. Invited to spring training. Started the season with the Royals. Did spend some time down in AAA, but then recalled in the middle of June.
Dozier homering in his 5th straight game. Only Harmon Killebrew and Marty Cordova have done that. It's his 11th home run this year against the Royals. The Royals got a really good pitching staff. That's what's kept them on the fringes of contention. And he's hit 11 home runs.
That's the most an opponent has hit against the Royals in one season.
And Kepler dives back. Right foot of Chris Siegel, I believe. All right, so the Twins need just 29 home runs in the 24 games counting tonight to get to 200. Suzuki's got 6 of them. Up and away, 2-2. Now it's become a longer than hoped for inning for Dylan G. Facing his 6th batter, and Mauer the only batter he's retired. Solidly to center field. And Kepler will check in at second.
Dylan G not fooling anybody. Escobar picking up a base hit, the 5th hit here in the 1st. And Dave Island, the pitching coach, a quick trip to the mound to ask Perez right here, what's he got? I says, I don't know. I haven't caught that many.
Look, the way you're going, Dozier's going to come around and hit again. Don't throw him a fastball.
I had a pitching coach come out. I gave up like 2 home runs in a row, and he came out and I said, what do you want? He says, well, I'm giving them time to reload the fireworks. They shot off the fireworks after every home run.
Suzuki will bat. He's 6 for 17 against Dylan G. Long looking, and now G is ready. Popped up near the Twins dugout and over the backside. 1 strike.
Now G's last start came against the Yankees in Kansas City. He pitched well, 6 innings, gave up only 1 run. Got the win, an 8-5 win over the Yankees. Coming on August 29th.
1 strike to Suzuki. short left, and Gordon makes the catch. Trevor Plouffe homered, but Brian Dozier homered again, his 11th against the Royals, starting a Twins comeback, and we're tied at 2.
Be a couple spots behind him in the lineup usually, so I have this view from the stairs, and I get to see those balls jump off his bat, and it's pretty special. His at bats are becoming like must-see events. Usually I'll be getting ready, kind of doing my stuff when I'm in the hole, but when he's up there now, you don't want to miss a pitch.
You don't want to miss a pitch because he doesn't miss a pitch. If it's a fastball in the strike zone, you throw it there at your own peril. Both Dozier and Plouffe have homered to tie the game, and now Santana got a foul ball on the first pitch to Alex Gordon.
Yeah, and Irvin get a little reprieve right here. So, one thing that Santana has been able to do, and that's to stay away from the multi-run innings like he did in the first. Over his last 13 starts, only one time he's given up more than 3 runs in an outing. So it's important for Santana, especially the way the Twins have been swinging the bat, to put a 0 on the board.
0-2 to Gordon.
Right here.
Gordon laid off the breaking ball.
Gordon has faced Santana more than any Kansas City Royal player. 37 times he has 8 hits, a .216 batting average. And he knew it. He took a strike right down the middle of the plate. Santana gets his second strikeout.
With one down, let's find Marty Gellner.
The Twins have a few additional players in their dugout tonight after September call-ups. Tyler Duffy and Kenny Vargas have been recalled, and James Beresford has been called up to the major leagues for the first time. He is a utility infielder from Australia, and Beresford has been in the minor leagues for 10 seasons, all of them in the Twins minor league system. And Beresford said that there were times through his career he wasn't sure this day would ever happen, but he just tried to keep the faith, told himself he was not going to give up. And now that he is here in the big leagues for the first time, Dick and Bert, Beresford has said he is almost speechless.
Had a chance to meet him. I know you did too, Dick. Very nice young man, just 27 years old, been with the Twins since 2005. When he signed as a basically 16-year-old out of Australia.
Bouncer wide of third, and he's here to catch part of his former teammate and now current teammate Brian Dozier's home run. They were teammates, middle infielders. Nice double play combo for the Beloit Snappers back in 2010. Inside, and it's 2-2. I've really been impressed with Beresford, just how he's played the few times we've seen him in spring training games. Second base, short, The ball lined to center. Buxton drifting back, making the catch, 2 down. And it is nice to see in an otherwise disappointing year for the Twins. A really nice final few weeks here with James Beresford getting to the big league.
They say he's earned this not only as a player, a .285 hitter over the 10 minor league seasons, but also his attitude, that what he brings to the ball club every day. And he's one of these guys. I mentioned, you know, Andrew Albers the other day, that's good for minor leagues, that they show that, hey, they still care. They come to the ballpark. Yeah, I'm not in the big leagues yet, but I'm going to get there by hard work. And finally, it has paid off.
And the added coach for the September call-ups is Chad Allen, who played for the Twins, of course, and has been a minor league instructor for many years, coming up from AAA. 1-1 to Alcides Escobar. Popped up, short center.
Good inning.
Buxton comes in. Trevor Plouffe said that watching Brian Dozier's at-bats must-see TV. He'll be hitting in the second inning again. For the inning in the second, it's 2 apiece. It'll be Rosario, Buxton, and Dozier. Rosario with 3 hits in the game last night. He's been a different hitter since his recall. This one under the arms, ball 1. I guess that is the source of encouragement for Twins fans as they've seen continued struggles in the second half of the year. And some of these guys that have been going back and forth and have been talked about as being productive hitters are starting to turn the corner. Rosario's better now than he was at any point last year. Buxton certainly showing signs of encouragement with a small sample size. 2-0. Now none of them can pitch, which is the biggest issue for the Twins. But this lineup, as we said, tonight they're 6th in the league in run scoring. Last night they were 5th. And it's fun to watch some young hitters who look like they're turning the corner.
Yeah, Rosario with 8 home runs. His last home run came here against Kansas City against Dylan G.
It's deep to the left field corner, and Gordon chasing it. That ball is gone right down the left field line. The 3rd home run already for the Twins. Nice call, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. And the Twins take a 3-2 lead thanks to Rosario's 9th home run of the year. Got a fastball away and just took it away. The ball kind of went up And Rosario, we have seen he'll swing at balls up high, down low, wherever, but that one just said go.
Here is Buxton. Takes down the middle, a strike.
So I'd have to say that Dylan G is not really fooling anybody right now.
2 strikes now to Buxton.
You go in with a game plan as a pitcher, and you better make the adjustment right away. Better off-speed stuff, keep the ball down. And Buxton a strikeout victim as Perez gets the out at first base.
And now Brian Dozier. Took a couple of breaking balls off the plate. They threw him a fastball, and he did what he has done throughout the second half. 9 home runs in the last 8 games.
You know, he has a 15-game hitting streak here at home at Target Field, and during that 15-game hitting streak, he said 13 home runs. So yeah, bombs away, babe.
And a breaking ball bends over for a strike. 39 home runs, but remember, back on August 10th, in a game that was called off because of rain after 4 innings, Dozier hit a home run in that game that didn't count. So it doesn't count, but he's actually in games has hit 40 home runs. 1-1 to Dozier.
Well, 2 breaking balls and a changeup.
Look at his numbers against Kansas City.
Sad part is a lot of those home runs have been solo home runs. 27 of his 39 home runs hit this year have been solo.
93 runs scored, 92 runs batted in. Outside, 3-1, and that'll be the next phase for Brian, I suspect, to be willing to take a walk. I wouldn't throw him a fastball over the plate right
He
now.
hasn't yet in this at bat. He learned his lesson in his first at bat.
And a called strike, now 3-2.
Winner with a 3-1 changeup. So do you try to sneak a fastball by him here? You haven't seen one yet. Let's see if Perez looking at Brian Dozier. Oh, back to the breaking ball, and please keep it down.
And Dozier pops it up to right field. Orlando coming in for the catch. And out number 2.
Kind of disappointing he made it out.
Two down, and now Polanco. 3 solo home runs for the Twins. Polanco got an infield hit his last time up. I asked him today about his experience at shortstop. Hadn't played there at all this year. I was under the impression he'd played a game at short in Rochester. He didn't play 1 game there, but did on a regular basis last year in Chattanooga. 40th pitch of the game for Dylan G. 2-0. In most games here at home, you will see both Polanco at short and Sano at third taking some extra ground balls, because of course they haven't taken ground balls on the left side of the infield for most of the season. At the knees, a strike.
Well, Polanco, a switch hitter, as a left-handed hitter, hitting .280 coming into the ball game, but a guy that gets pretty close to home plate. A little bit of an open stance, hands almost on the inside part of the plate.
2 hopper to Hosmer. He'll go to the bag and end the inning. But the Twins hit their 3rd solo home run, a leadoff home run by Rosario to take the lead.
At Target Field, and tonight Fox Sports North is very proud to host members of T-Mobile and some very special members of the military as part of the program here. Gail Booty is a director at T-Mobile, a representative for T-Mobile. Gail, explain what it is that T-Mobile is able to do in recognizing members of the military and their families.
So back in the fall of 2013, the first thing that we did as an organization is started recognizing Veterans Day as a company-paid holiday in honor of those that have served and continue to serve here at T-Mobile and across the land. In addition to that, we created a recognition program and a military coin, which is somewhat symbolic in all 5 of the branches of the military. A T-Mobile coin, again, in honor and great gratitude of the service of both serving in the military and our service to T-Mobile. So with that coin is presented to our T-Mobile military members in honor of their service.
It's a wonderful program, and Jessica Esty is not only an employee of T-Mobile, she is also a former member of the military. What does it mean, Jessica, to have the support from T-Mobile and businesses like that, as well as from the general public?
Well, it means quite a lot to me. I have a very strong military background in my family. My dad is a veteran, as are my 2 older sisters and 2 of my brother-in-laws. So having the support of the public, and especially T-Mobile, is incredibly important.
It's a wonderful program, and we thank you for your service and thank you for your time. We hope you are enjoying this ball game here tonight.
I am.
Gail and Jessica and the wonderful folks here at T-Mobile, Dick and Bert, recognizing, as they should, our veterans and members of the military in such a fine way.
Fly ball right center field. Thank you, Marty. Kepler comes in, and we're getting a couple of strikeouts. Everything else outfield flies, and the bottom line, 6 in a row sent down by Irvin Santana. And that'll bring up Paulo Orlando.
Well, Santana's all about hitting his spots with his fastball, changing speeds. Good changeup right there to Gerard Dyson, and he just popped it up.
Orlando struck out swinging. Gordon struck out looking. Everybody else has hit an outfield fly against Santana for an out. Except, of course, Morales, who hit one over the outfield, over the wall, and almost out of the ballpark.
Big part for Santana. Always say important, get ahead in the count, and he's done a great job. 10 of 11 first pitch strikes.
And I believe he missed to Dyson. He fell behind 3-0 in the opening at bat, and he's delivered strike 1 to everybody else. 2 strikes
Good
to Orlando.
Yeah, good 2-seam sinking fastball right there. I mentioned the 4-seamer pretty straight. He'll throw in on lefties hard, and then that last one, the 2-seamer that has some movement down and away or in, down in to a right-hander. See if he throws it again.
Sharply hit. Dozer picks it off, throws him out. Good play by Dozer. A 1-2-3 third for Santana. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? Hey, if you just joined us, you've already missed Brian Dozier's 39th home run of the season. He hit it on his first swing of the night. Twins have added 2 more solo home runs. Mauer will lead off the bottom of the 3rd. Outside, ball 1.
Yeah, it's the 3rd time in his starts Dylan G has allowed 3 home runs in a ball game, and against the Twins, this is his 4th start as a starter. Total 18 1/3 innings in his 3+ starts. He's given up 10 home runs to the Twins.
And now low, 2-0. Mauer hit into a double play after Polanco hit an infield single in the 1st inning. Bloof will follow, and then Kepler.
But think about that, Dick. 18 1/3 innings so far. 10 home runs allowed.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And Dylan coming into the ball game had allowed 19 home runs in 13 starts. And he had 16 relief appearances.
2-1. Cracked foul. The league lead in that department, Josh Tomlin. He's given up 35 home runs. Kansas City's Ian Kennedy with 31. 2-2. I think your record is safe for another year.
Yeah, but they won't pitch 270 innings.
Nearly hit the bag, but Hosmer backhanded the hop and goes to the bag. 1 away. And that'll bring up Blue. Join Fox Sports North and the Minnesota Wild for the breakaway 10K, 5K, and 1-mile run. Saturday, September 24th, benefiting the Herb Brooks Foundation. All participants receive a T-shirt and are qualified to win 2 sweet tickets for the Wild Jets games Sunday, October 8th. For more info, visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar. Here's Plouffe. He homered into the bullpen his first time up, fouling one towards the radio booth. Dan Glenn with an error.
In and out of.
Oh, no.
What's new?
Oh, no. In the glove and out. Corey Provis had nothing to do with it. It was a clean muff. Oh, the shame. Oh.
The fan gave it back to him. If we have it right here. In and whoa.
Plouffe gets sawed off into left field. It'll drop for a hit. And it was a Twins player who hit it too. You know, so Trevor Plouffe is going to be relentless in his abuse of Dan Gladden. And Kepler will hit. Lined a single into right field his first time up. Not a good outing for Dylan G, as the Twins have, although he retired 4 men in a row, the Twins have already picked up 7 hits. And he's only retired 6 batters. Ball 1 to Kepler.
You know, that ball over the plate right there with Cuthbert playing a deep third base. Kepler may have been able to get a base hit. Now Cuthbert coming in about even with the bag.
Outside, and it's 2-0. A high fly to right, and retreating a few steps is Orlando. He makes the catch. Kepler just missed one.
Yeah, G threw him a little breaking ball, and Kepler got a little inside on that. Didn't quite get the barrel of the bat out.
Escobar with a single his first time up. Escobar lined a single right over the cap of Dylan G. pitch up, ball 1. And now 2-0.
Hey, Dylan G basically was a starter with the New York Mets when he first came up in 2010. Then had some injuries in 2015. The Mets kind of sent him to the minor leagues where he spent most of the season, became a free agent, signed with Kansas City.
Bouncer right side. Mondesi has it. That ends the inning. Trevor Plouffe has the only hit in the inning. So if you're scoring, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 error.
Yep, 1 big error.
And I would just throw them up and just see how far I can hit it. And that's it. Just throw it up and see how far I can hit it. And just to get that feeling of kind of, I'm not going to say selling out, but get that feeling of really attacking a moving ball. And just like my golf swing, a steel ball, whatever, and I really attack it to kind of take that on the baseball field. And ever since then, you know, you always hear one of the biggest adjustments you have to make in the big league, you got to figure out what kind of player you are and then run with that kind of thing. So after that, everything started coming together. You know, I don't know about the 30 or 40 home runs, but, you know, the extra base hits and that kind of thing that you can maybe that is leaning more towards what kind of player you are. So. Right.
That's part of an extended interview Roy Smalley did with Brian Dozier, and it will air in our pregame show tomorrow. And Roy's nice enough to step up in the booth here in the top of the 4th inning, swing and a miss, 0-2. Roy, you've talked about it in the pregame show. It just seems like it's coming so easy for him, and hitting home runs aren't this easy.
It's just not this easy. I've never seen anything like it, frankly. And the only thing that I can relate it to at all, Bert, I've only said this about one player before, and that's about Barry Bonds when he was hitting 370 and hit 40 or 50 home runs, whatever it was. And he stood up there looking like he was taking batting practice in a big league game. And as a matter of fact, in the playoffs, in the postseason, I'd never seen anything like that before. Brian's looks the same way to me. It looks like batting practice.
Yeah, and Brian doesn't have all the armor that Barry Bonds used to wear either.
There are some other differences as well, but we won't get into that. The way I described it, and everybody had a chance to express their thoughts about what Brian's doing. And I think in the first 2 months, it looked like he was trying to hit home runs. But the sense I get now is that he isn't, but he is hitting home runs.
One of the things the main thing I think that Brian learned as a result of the 2 months of struggle, and then the work that, as Bert pointed out in the opener of the show, the work that he's done with Tom Bernanski. What Brian finally came to is that he doesn't, the more he tried to hit home runs to left field, the worse it got. And the more he let the ball come to him, let it travel farther on the plate, be willing to just put the barrel of the bat on the ball wherever it was pitched, the fewer times he missed the pitches he was supposed to hit for home runs. And that's a big realization for a hitter. It really is. When you know that you're just going to let the pitch come to you and you're going to try to hit an extra base hit anywhere on the field, Then when those home run pitches show up, you don't miss them, and that's what the streak he's in right
Roy,
now.
how long did it take you to learn that? Because you had power from both sides of the plate.
Nearly caught in left by Rosario. Hosmer's going to dig for two. Here's a throw right on the money. He is out. Do not run on Eddie Rosario.
I tell you what, I have seen a couple times Rosario make this type of play where he doesn't really know where he is on the field. Watch this ball right here. Little short hop, he knocks it down. But watch him right here. He's not really looking at second base until right there, and makes a perfect one-hop throw right to Brian Dozier, and Hosmer is out.
It's a great point, Bert. The best thing that he does is the accuracy of his arm from anywhere really out there in the outfield. He's able to pick up his target and throw it right on the money.
You see Hosmer not really kicking it in until maybe 2/3 of the way down. That could have been the difference.
Yeah, it was the difference for sure.
So one out, and the dangerous Morales at the plate.
Roy, I'll go back to what you were, a power hitter from both sides of the plate. Brian Dozier took him, say, I'm going to go last year. He hit 28 home runs. He had about 1,400 major league at-bats before he hit the 28 home runs last year. Sometimes it takes guys longer, doesn't it, to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think Brian's got a way better swing than I ever had, and he's got an awful lot of life in his bat. I mean, I was never going to hit 38 home runs, and he's going to, or 39. He's going to hit 40, and I was never going to do that. But what he's learned, I think that came to me at about at a similar time, is Antonio Lima said it best. I mean, you can't hit pitches you can't hit. Yeah. Right? And so he's done a really, really nice job this year in this streak of saying, okay, I'm going to take what the pitcher gives me. I'm not going to try to hit every pitch to left field. I'm going to play by situation. If I get in a spot where a home run pitches show up, then they'll go there.
Yeah, I'm not only talking home runs, I'm talking the at-bats also for the average, because this year he came in as a 240 hitter. He's hitting 280 right now.
Well, I hope people will watch our pregame show tomorrow, because it's one of the things that I talked with him about. I said, it always seemed to me that you are a home run hitter in your heart and soul. You want to hit the ball out of the ballpark. The question for me, Brian, was, do you want to hit 30 home runs and hit 230, or did you want to hit 30 home runs and hit 270 or 80 or 90? Or there's no telling what kind of batting average you might have. You had to figure out a way.
Change up right there.
You had to figure out a way to compromise and do both, and he's figured that out.
Because I'm impressed. Yeah, the home runs, that's nice.
No, it's more average. 39 home runs for a second baseman, Bert. That's really nice.
Yeah. Carsoup.com trivia question: which two middle infielders hold the Twins' top 40 single season? Top four. I'm sorry, going back to my disc jockey days. Top four single season. Let me ask you this, and you know the deal here. We got two outs, and you can't stay. You got nothing better to do, do you?
I'm just. All right.
We'll get you a hot dog
here. The question is, he's 5'11", 198 pounds. Where does Brian Dozier get his power? We'll get Roy's answer on the other side of the break. here now. We hope that we won't have an interruption. But Roy, let me ask you, Dozier may hit here in the 4th inning if the Twins get somebody on base. Guy's 5'11", 198 pounds. Harmon Killebrew looked like a 40 home run a year hitter. Miguel Sano looks like someday he's going to hit 40. Where does the comparatively small Brian Dozier get all that power?
Well, it's a complicated or at least an involved question, as Suzuki hits the ball hard there. But 198 pounds. I mean, that's not a little guy. He's built really well. You know, you walk around in the clubhouse and you see the weightlifting stuff that he does, and Brian's a strong guy. But you saw in the clip and listened to him at the very opening of the top of the 4th inning there, where Brian was talking about throwing the ball up and hitting it with a fungo as hard as he could. That was part of the answer when I asked him, you know, where he thought the power came from. And he said, you know, Bruno and I, when we were in the minor leagues together, played golf, and I hit the ball farther than Bruno did, and Bruno was mad about it.
Right.
Number one. And number two, he said, well, and Brian didn't hit home runs in the minor leagues at that time. And Bruno said, how come that's not translating? And he said, well, how come you hit the ball so well? As we look at the tutor and the protege there, how come you hit the ball so far on the golf course? And Brian says, because I use my legs so much. And Bruno said, well, then let's do that on the baseball field, right? And Brian does that exceedingly well. The two things that he's got going for him, he has great leg drive, back leg into front leg, and he has a really level swing in that his front arm is coming down and it makes the bat speed really quick and makes the ball backspin, almost like Max Kepler does. And so the combination of the leg drive and that real quick bat speed is what generates the power.
Is that not the same fundamental leg strength for really anything you do in sports? I mean, you have to be strong from the waist down. Take a look at that back leg you're talking about.
Yeah, see how he gathers on his back leg and then drives into a stiff front leg, and that's when I'm talking drive, he's got a lot of weight shift in his lower body but not his head, and so he's driving hard with his legs. And Bert, you're right, it's the same as what you always talk about from a pitching standpoint. It's the leg drive toward the hitter as a pitcher, but keeping your upper body, you know, on that downward plane.
So let's strengthen our legs together.
Yeah.
Ready?
Do some squats.
Here we go.
Thanks, Roy Smalley. We'll look forward to the interview with Brian Dozier tomorrow in the pregame.
Which means we're in the Minnesota Lottery winner's circle, and we have $100 worth of scratch-off tickets for Terry and Jeff from Burnsville, who are standing in the rain, celebrating their 5th wedding anniversary. They got married on 9/10/11 at 12:13. Do you mean like 12:13 in the afternoon?
Yes, it sure was. We celebrated all day.
Did you plan that like down to the minute?
Yes, we did.
What kind of planning did that take?
a couple of drinks.
Okay. Okay. And you met at a class reunion, correct?
Yep. We didn't know each other in high school, but we met at our reunion.
And it was meant to be. Happy anniversary on 9/10/11 to celebrate big at 12/13 and maybe win some money courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Thank you.
Right, the thought went into that house. Happy anniversary. You are both hereby circled.
Gordon green lighted on 3-0, and he taps it foul. 3-1. Gordon, Cuthbert, and Escobar in the 5th. Rain is lightening up now. You can take it from Doppler Dick. This rain is going to stop in about 10 minutes.
I hope so, because Santana's already had a couple rain delay type outings, so needs to stop here, slow down for him a little bit. Remember his first outing in Baltimore.
Yeah, 2 innings and then full count to Gordon, leading off the 5th. And he walked him. Lead off walk.
Second walk for Santana. He walked Hosmer in the 1st inning.
Bring up Chesler Cuthbert, who lined out to Buxton his first time up. Royals have just 2 hits. The home run by Morales and the single with Hosmer being thrown out, trying to stretch it to a double, and that's going to hurt for a while. Cuthbert buries a pitch into his front leg.
When you see that, you always think of Jermaine Dye.
Inside of the knee, yeah. Dye ended up having his season end because of a broken ankle, and I've always said it's amazing it doesn't happen more often. Right above the knee,
just on the left side of his knee. He'll try to walk it off if he can. Well, the Twins need a ground ball.
And Suzuki with a pat on the chest and maybe the sentiment, look, you think that's bad?
They get hit every night.
I say you should see what I've gone through this year.
Called a balk.
And that will get Gordon to second base.
I was not really watching. I was watching home plate umpire Chris Sagal point right away at Irvin Santana.
Tying run at second, nobody out.
Take a look right here. Oh, he's in the windup. That's what he did not step off with his left foot. He stepped off with his right foot.
Was it just a matter of him forgetting there was a runner at first?
Yeah,
he was going to do the windup.
He was starting the windup, and when you are on the rubber like that, you're supposed to step off with your, your right foot. I don't know. He ended up blocking.
Gordon is safe at third, stealing his way to third base. A walk, a balk, and now a stolen base. And the Twins will take a look to make sure. Paul Molitor with the left foot out of the dugout.
Well, you can see on first movement, first look. And Gordon sliding in head first. The quick tag by Escobar. It looks like he got that left hand on the bag.
The Twins will challenge that. Based on that look alone, it looked like once Gordon touched the base, he never lost contact with the base.
And that balk called on Santana, his second balk of the year, right there. Gordon's left hand definitely on the bag, and then his foot. So Gordon steals the base, his 7th of the year in 8 attempts.
Twins bring the infield in halfway, and the count is 2-1 to Cuthbert. 3-1. Santana's in this jam because of an opening walk. He fell behind Gordon 3-0, filled the count, and then walked him, then balked him to second. And now 3-1 to the next batter. Two. Just maybe a mist now or a light rain. Santana a little disgusted with himself.
You were right on. Just a miss.
Struck him out. One away.
Good.
Bring up Escobar.
Yep, big strikeout right there for Santana, his fourth. Good slider. He kept going in, and then a good little slider, good location, down and away. For the first out.
Quicken Loan's Rocket Arms are team leaders in strikeouts. And Santana now with 123. Ian Kennedy with 160. Infield all the way in now with Escobar fouling one off his front leg on strike. Twins tried to choke off the run, the tying run at third base. One strike.
Yeah, Suzuki again going inside.
He's missed 1-1.
That's what's been fun to watch Irvin Santana go about his business, is that catcher like Suzuki right there went inside. I'm going to guess 7 of 10 times. It's not going to be 10 out of 10, but 6, 7 out of 10 times that ball's going to be middle in. And now wants a breaking ball away. Good block by Suzuki.
2-1. 70 pitches. 44 strikes, 63% strikes.
That's the way you block a ball if you're a young man out there wanting to be a major league catcher. Great job by Suzuki. Use that chest protector. Deaden the ball. Now, he wanted a slider. Santana wants to go back in again.
Popped up near the Twins dugout. Plouffe with the call. The catch, 2 away.
2 big outs so far for Santana after leaving Gordon at third.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Got to take a bunt away from this guy right here.
With 2 outs and that runner at third, he's still a threat to bunt.
Yes, he is. Escobar in on the grass at third.
Just missed with a fastball.
In his first at bat, they really went hard on Mondesi inside.
And a fly ball to Kepler, pretty deep right field, but Mondesi got under it. 1-0.
Back in again.
There's a strike. You see Santana's velocity remains pretty consistent. 94, 95, and if he's around in the 7th inning, he'll still have 93, 94. In off the plate. So 3 fastballs inside.
All 3 fastballs middle in. Well, what that does, it makes that hitter maybe think about maybe speeding up his bat a little bit, and maybe a changeup right here might have him out front. Going back in again. Good fastball.
Well, he's just rearing back and throwing it as hard as he can. With location.
That's the most important thing you said right there. With location.
Dyson, the leadoff batter on deck. With 2 strikes now, Escobar can play back at third.
4 straight fastballs in. And tried that slider down and in, and Mondesi didn't go fishing.
Full count now.
And I'll say it again, if I'm Gibson, if I'm Duffy, if I'm Barrios, whoever's in that starting rotation sitting on the bench, you sit and you watch how this guy goes about his business. That's being Irvin Santana. You learn off of your ace. Into a 3-2 slider.
Got him.
Struck him out. Great.
And Santana again pitches out of a jam in the 5th to keep the Twins in front. Brian Dozier will lead off the bottom of the 5th.
Hey, guess what? Brian Dozier hit another home run, his 39th of the year. Later in the inning, it was Trevor Plouffe's turn, his 12th of the year. And in the second inning, Eddie Rosario getting a pitch and hitting it the other way just over the fence. So 3 runs for the Twins, 3 solo home runs.
And the fastball that Dozier hit for a home run in the first inning was the last fastball he has seen. Ended up flying out in a breaking ball in the second, and now takes a breaking ball for ball 1 here in the 5th. Popped up, and the center fielder Dyson with the catch, 1 away, and it'll bring up Polanco.
You know, I said in the second inning about Dylan G that he's got to make an adjustment, and really between he and Perez, I think they have. He's only allowed 1 hit after the 6 hits he allowed in the first 2 innings, 3 of them home runs.
Polanco with a squibber up the third baseline for an infield hit in the first, and then he hit a ground ball to Hosmer. And he gets a fastball taken for strike 1.
G has retired 6 straight Twins since the single by Plouffe a couple innings ago.
Just outside, 1-1. And a breaking ball over, 1-2. And that kicks away, 2-2.
Yeah, G making his 13th start. He's not a guy that Ned Yost or Dave Island are looking to go, you know, 7 or 8 innings. He give me 5, 6 good innings. His longest outing this year actually came against the Twins in Kansas City, went 7 innings.
Gordon drifts back, makes the catch for out number 2. September 20th is Ryder Cup night at Target Field. A limited number of Ryder Cup theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and Ryder Cup themed Twins cap. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/Ryder Cup or call 800-33-TWINS. 2 down, and now Mauer. A couple of ground balls to the right side. One of them turned into a double play. Strike 1. The Royals, team that employ a lot of outfield shifts, and we've talked about where Gordon plays Mauer in the left field corner, and then it's remarkable to think where Orlando's playing him. Behind third, Gordon rushing in, and he'll get there to make a running catch. 3 outfield flies. Flies, a 1-2-3, 5th inning. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. And by Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected. 3 more home runs for the Twins, 172 on the season. They had 156 last year, and now Dyson slaps one toward the gap. Rosario cuts and fires towards second base, and he holds Dyson to a single. It's not just the outfield assist. It's the reputation that Rosario has in left field for being a strong and accurate thrower. You end up taking a lot of balls that might be doubles otherwise and keeping them singles.
Well, Twins have a lot of speed in that outfield, and Dyson trying to dice right there between Buxton and Rosario. It was Rosario that cut it off. And watch Dyson right here and his speed. He's thinking double, maybe right here, and then picking up the ball and realizing that Rosario one-hop throw.
Well, Santana walked the leadoff man in the 5th. And a couple pitches later, Gordon was standing at third base. He needs to be cognizant, and I know he is, of Dyson and his speed. Royals down a run, and they feel like they have the advantage here against just about anybody behind the plate. Suzuki struggled throwing out runners, and this is going to be a challenge to try to keep Dyson at first base. Orlando squares to bunt, and bunts foul.
Yeah, Dyson stole a base in last night's ball game, advanced to third base on the error by Centeno that went into center field.
In the 5th inning, Gordon walked, was balked to second, and then immediately stole third, and then Santana struck out Cuthbert. Got a pop up and another strikeout to get out of the inning. Dyson stays put, swing and a miss. 0-2.
Well, Santana pretty good at holding on runners. With Gordon's stolen base last inning, that was only the 3rd stolen base off of Santana in 4 attempts.
And not surprisingly, it was third base. The Royals preach that. Third base very often is easier to steal than second, because pitchers tend to let down with a runner at second.
Well, sometimes pitchers will only look once,
right,
and then go home. Sometimes middle infielders are playing pretty backs, back further, so they'll get that better lead. And you're also closer to third than, say, Dyson is right now to second because of that lead you can take off of second base.
That's, to me, the biggest thing. The fact that here's Plouffe standing on the bag. And Tyson has to shorten his lead because of it, but at second base the middle infielders are split. They're at best 25 feet from the bag. Two strikes to Orlando. Chopper to short. They'll get one. And the throw by Dozer off target. They will not get two and should have.
Boy, they should have, because the way Polanco played that ball. He charged that ball, and rarely do you see Brian Dozer's throw that erratic. Let's take a look right here. He charged that ball nicely. Good feed over to Brian, and Brian's throw pulls Plouffe off the bag.
So Orlando reaches on a fielder's choice, and Hosmer will bat. A walk, a run scored, and a single. He sliced a line drive to left field. Rosario deflected it, then picked it up and threw him out at second base.
Well, keep an eye on Orlando too. He has 11 stolen bases.
And Suzuki with a throw.
With Trevor Plouffe holding on Orlando, of course, you have that big hole between Dozier and Plouffe. Escobar playing way off that third base line at third.
Suzuki held it, didn't get the call from Chris Siegel, and now it's 2-0.
I think he's fallen behind on Eric Hosmer in all 3 at-bats. He walked him into first. Hosmer got a base hit. Rosario threw him out at second in the fourth. And he falls behind Hosmer here. Santana worked out of a great jam in the 5th inning.
Big hack by Hosmer, 2-1.
Hosmer just a steady player. Already in his 6th season with Kansas City. He came up back in 2011, just 26 years old. Hosmer made the All-Star team this year, was the All-Star MVP, 3-time Gold Glove winner.
2-1. Orlando with a conservative lead. Swing and a foul tip, throw to second, goes into center field, and going to third is Orlando. Kind of the same thing that happened last night.
You know what, the one-hop throw, Centeno did the same thing with Escobar, and it's a ball that Escobar's got to try to knock down. Same thing right there for Polanco. You know the throw's not going to quite get to second base, so you have to get in front of it and try to knock it down. You see, he played off to the side.
Especially there when he came in front of the bag. He wasn't in position to put the tag on, even if he had fielded it.
Yeah, again, that's something that Polanco is going to learn. You know, the throw was low. Polanco's got to come off the bag, come up, and keep that ball in front of him. So a stolen base for Orlando, and then the error by Suzuki.
Infield in, 2-2 to Hosmer. Got him. 2 down. This is a veteran pitcher showing Barrios, Gibson, Duffy, so on and so forth, how it's done.
Well, the breaking ball, the hard breaking ball, that one went straight down. So Santana again for the 2nd straight inning, trying to work out of a situation with a runner at third.
Here is Morales, a long 2-run home run and a strikeout. Half swing and a strike.
I got to be honest with you, Dick. I've only said that because if I'm, you know, the other pitchers like Duffy or whoever they are, Gibson, I'm watching the game. I'm not talking to somebody next to me. I'm watching the game, how he's going to work out of this. What is he throwing here?
Scoop by Suzuki. 1-1. And again, as disappointed as Santana himself was in his last start, he battled without his best stuff, without his command, which he'll tell you is the most important thing he has out there, and left a lot of men on base and made big pitches when he had to, and he's already done it a couple of times here tonight. Inside 2-1.
That pitch had a perfect purpose right there. He wanted to make sure, he wanted to tell Morales that I will come inside on you. Does he come back in again, or does he throw that two-seamer down and away? He doesn't want to make a mistake to this guy.
Hits the corner with a fastball.
This guy can hurt you. 20 pitches in the first, 22 in the second. Trying to get out of here in the sixth. Right now at 90 total.
Two and two to Morales.
Took the fastball off. Hard breaking ball.
Dribbler to first. Kloof to the bag. What a job again by Irvin Santana after the leadoff single. Persistent. Our Mountain Dew fans of the game wearing rain gear, enjoying the ball game, enjoying the scoreboard as we go to the bottom of the sixth inning. Trevor Plouffe will lead off for the Twins against Dylan G. And a first pitch strike.
Yeah, Dylan G has settled down nicely. He's retired 8 straight Twins.
On the ground, right to Escobar. One down, and it'll bring up Kepler.
It's one thing we haven't had a lot of, Dick, in this ballgame. Ground ball outs.
Yep. Big double play in the first, but most of the outs have come through the air.
Right.
Here's Kepler, singled in the first, hit a fly ball to right in the third. Kepler got the day off yesterday. He's had a couple of good at bats after the struggles of 2 games ago when he struck out 5 times. Takes a strike over the inside corner.
Well, as a young, talented young man at 23 years old, you're going to go through that, the ups and downs. You're going to get the strikeouts, and all of a sudden, it's how you rebound after it.
Going back to Brian Dozier months ago, he got a couple of games off in a row, and that seemed to allow him to decompress a little bit and Dozer's case, that was a couple of games off. Kepler trying to get back on track with just one game off.
Well, Twins want to see, they want Kepler to go all the way through the season, you know, get a bat, see what he can do. Right now, came into the game hitting 244, at 245 right now.
1-2. Squirted to third. Oh, high hop for Cuthbert. And close play. Kepler retired, 2 down. And they'll be particularly observant, I think, about what happens in September, because this will be the first time that Kepler won't play all the way through to the end of the month. To accommodate the call-ups, our Sanford Health injury report. Danny Santana sprained left shoulder, moved to the 60-day DL. The news last week was that he would miss the rest of the season anyway. Remember, he was involved in that collision with
Grossman,
Robbie Grossman in left center field.
Toronto, yeah.
2 down. Here's Escobar and a strike. Escobar a single and 2 trips. Twins with 6 hits, first time through the batting order, just 1 since, and now a foul, 2 strikes.
Yeah, 10 Twins retired in a row by Dylan G. His pitch count at 81.
So far, so good for the Twins. The Royals' success over the last nearly 3 years has been predicated on having a lead after the 6th inning. Then with the airtight bullpen, they won a lot of games that way. Of all the teams, you want to do it to every team, but of all the teams in baseball, you want to have the lead after 6, and then you got to hope your bullpen can shut down the Royals.
Yeah, Royals, they've built the last 4 or 5 years from the 9th inning back. Starting with Greg Holland.
Ooh, close pitch taken for ball 3.
Dave Island, the pitching coach, they expect their starters hopefully go 6, sometimes into the 7th, because of their great bullpen.
Fouled back, you see or saw Scott Alexander warming up. Royals with the call-ups have a 10-man bullpen. The Twins have an 11-man bullpen.
Again, he's retired 10 straight. You needed 42 in the first 2 innings. Been outstanding ever since.
Full count to Escobar. Up the middle sharply, and Escobar has 2 hits. That would be, as Tom Kelly calls them, diamond cutters, right up the middle. And that'll bring up Kurt Suzuki.
Yeah, pitch up, and Escobar hitting sharply right back up the middle.
Suzuki looking for his first hit. A fly to left and a liner to center. All the runs in tonight's game scoring on home runs. The Royals with a 2-run home run. The Twins with 3 solos, 1 by Brian Dozier. Pitches up, ball 1.
Escobar not really a threat to steal a base. He has 1 stolen base in 3 attempts.
Up and in, 2-0.
But you know, Dick, when you have a guy like Salvador Perez behind the plate, he kind of stops a lot of the running game against certain clubs.
It's obviously a priority for the Royals because they have now in the last couple of years backed up Perez with Drew Butera, who can do the same thing. There's a ball whacked foul down the left field line.
Yeah, there have been 39 stolen bases this season against the Royals. 37 have been caught. So it's like they have a 50-50 chance between Perez, who does most of the catching, and then you mentioned Drew Butera.
Remember when Butera pitched, and he's pitched a couple of times for the Royals this year. His fastball was clocked at 94 when he pitched for the Twins against the Brewers. 2-1 to Suzuki. Popped up. Hosmer looks like he's got room. And that ends the 6th inning. On to the 7th. Twins with a 3-2 lead.
Start the last couple innings, my oh my, has he done a great job of working out of a jam. A walk to Gordon, then a balk. He stole third. Now he's got to strike out somebody, which he did. Cuthbert for the first out. Got Escobar to pop up. Then he struck out Mondesi to end the threat. Great pitching right there. And then last inning, a base hit by Dyson starts off the top of the 6th inning. Orlando hitting into what could have been a double play. The throw just up the line from Brian Dozier, but then he strikes out Hosmer after Orlando steals a base, scoots over to third, and then Mondesi hits a just slow hopper over to Plouffe for that third out. So last couple innings under duress, but Santana has answered.
And he's out there to start the 7th, delivering ball 1 to Salvador Perez. Gordon and Cuthbert will follow. Oh boy. They're wondering, did he go? They said no, so someone will go to first base, and the Royals are hoping it'll be Salvador Perez. Oh my goodness.
Looks like he got him right on the elbow. The forearm is where he's holding. Or the wrist.
It's his throwing hand or arm that was hit.
Well, pitches inside. Perez.
The right wrist. Here's what it sounded like. And Perez is going to have to leave the ball game. Royals have suffered so many injuries this year, but this is one man they cannot afford to lose.
He's a bull back there. He is a bull, and they'll get some ice on that ASAP and get him checked out.
X-rays will follow, one would think. So Drew Butera will do the catching, one would think. Royals have put some speed on the base right now. Terrence Gore is going to go to first base.
And he's been brought up again. September call-up, basically, is up earlier this year. 2 steal bases. This guy can fly. Over 250 minor league stolen bases. He's 4 for 4 in stolen bases so far.
So Santana will try to pull out his Houdiniac one more time. 3rd inning in a row that the Royals have had a speedy runner at first base to lead off the inning. And a close play with Gore getting back. Paul Molitor's got his left foot out. Twins are going to take a look.
Quick throw, quick tag.
And I think his hand was on the bag. we will play on at some point. Gordon fouls, 1 strike. Santana doing a marvelous job in the 5th. Remember, Hosmer actually got a single to lead off the 4th, but he was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. Santana having a tough time getting the leadoff man out. 4th inning in a row that the leadoff man has been on base.
Yeah, Gore started the season with the Royals, sent down in early May, and then just recalled.
It's a type of move, by the way, that is made with call-ups that might not have been made in August. There goes Gore. Suzuki's throw.
Get him. Well, I say get him sliding past the bag.
A stolen base, and now the tying runs at second.
This young man very, very quick. 251 minor league stolen bases. A sprinter type player. Can't hit much, doesn't get many at bats, but he can fly.
And now Santana needs to pay him some attention at second base.
3rd stolen base for the Royals so far in this ballgame.
1-1 to Gordon. Fouled back. The shortstop Polanco playing behind Gore at second base.
You almost want to show Gore you have that spin around move. You don't have to throw to second. Because Santana does bring that left knee up. There, that one right there. At least show him you have it.
Gordon at the plate, strikeout prone, struck out looking in the second. Scooped up by Suzuki, 2-2. Paul Molitor, Neil Allen looking at one another with a conversation. How long do we go with Santana? This will be his 98th pitch.
You go a little deeper with this guy.
Again dug out by Suzuki, and it's a full count to Gordon. Chesler Cuthbert on deck.
And Santana guy, you can go 110, 115 pitches. Ryan Presley getting loose.
Full count to Gordon. Missed inside. A hit batter and now a walk. Nobody out. Cuthbert will hit. Here comes Paul Molitor.
Second time that he walked Gordon, 3rd walk for Santana.
They sent him out there in the 7th, but really back-to-back innings he had to pitch his tail off to keep this 3-2 lead for the Twins. Presley's warmed up, and he'll come in relief of Santana. Up with the mission continues as we commemorate the 15th anniversary of the events of 9/11 all over the country. The mission continues, bringing together veterans and civilians through local service projects and honoring this day in history by giving back to our communities. Visit foxsportsupports.com and learn more.
Well, we showed you Santana right there, now talking to Neil Allen, but he's pretty upset right there that maybe taken out of the ball game, but after hitting Perez, walking Alex Gordon for the second time. Now it's up to Ryan Presley, hopefully get out of this situation. Keep an eye on Gore. Presley with that high leg kick, making his 65th relief appearance.
Cuthbert at the plate. First pitch to left field. Rosario with a running catch. Quick flip to second, not in time. So Presley gets a soft line drive to left. Rosario racing in to catch it, one away.
For some, the scouting report, Rosario's playing pretty shallow right there. That when I first swung at that, I thought it was going to be a little flare into left field. Rosario came in hard and made a nice catch.
Now Escobar. Presley's had a rough go of it here from August into September, giving up runs in 4 of his last outing, 5 outings. And slider for a strike.
And that was good what Presley did right there. He looked at Gore a couple times at second base.
And debris, can't tell if it's a baseball or not in left center field. That came out of the Kansas City bullpen. Bring him in.
Bring him in. Yeah.
Soria, Scott Alexander. Somebody's going to pitch to the Twins at the bottom of the 7th. Presley trying to keep the Twins in front through the top of the inning. Speedy runner at second. 1 strike to Escobar. Another breaking ball. Missing 1-1.
I think the Twins have seen enough of Escobar where he does like that fastball, and he's a free swinger. He doesn't walk much. 556 plate appearances. Excuse me, at bats. He's walked only 24 times.
Left field, a base hit. Gore around third. Rosario wings it home off target. The game is tied. A soft liner, not unlike the one Cuthbert hit. Rosario couldn't catch this one, and we're tied. First and second, 1 down.
Escobar got a fastball and hit it softly to left field. Picks up his 48th run batted in.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier.
Maybe a little cutter, but it stayed up and allowed Escobar to reach out. And Gore and his speed.
I mean, Gore's speed is right up there with Buxton's. There aren't going to be too many people throwing him out.
And that run charged to Santana. And also Gordon at second base, his responsibility.
Pinch hitting for the Royals is Daniel Nava, just called up for this series. He'll hit in what was Mondesi's spot.
Now, Nava traded to Kansas City from the Angels in late August. Didn't hit much for the Angels. Hit only .235 in 45 ball games.
The fastball on the outside corner.
Nava came up with the Boston Red Sox. He's played for the Tampa Bay Rays and then earlier this year the Angels. Career .263 hitter.
And a breaking ball for strike 2. this inning's run, the first run that wasn't scored on a home run in tonight's game, and now Presley trying to make it the only run scoring. Dribble foul. It was a breaking ball. Speed on the bases. Gordon's at second. Escobar's at first. Presley trying to get a ground ball hit at somebody or a strikeout. Check swing, 1-2.
A tough pitch to lay off of. Nava able to lay off of that hard breaking ball. Yeah, Presley is a strikeout pitcher. 61 strikeouts in 69 innings pitched. Good tight rotation, but Nava laid off of it.
That's where he wants to throw that ball,
Yes,
right
he
in the
does.
dirt, right between the catcher and home plate.
Trust your catcher that he'll block it. And Suzuki has done enough of that this year.
Buddy Boshears warming up in the Twins pen. Popped up into the seats. Back to the fastball at 95. The Twins are convinced that Presley's numbers don't reflect the stuff that he brings to the mound. And as he continues to get experience, maybe a little more confidence in what's a pretty good fastball. So the first one to Nava here had pretty good movement, hitting a corner.
Yeah, I've seen the 4-seam and then the 2-seam sinking fastball down and away.
Another breaking ball and a tougher block for Suzuki. That's 2-2.
They can't get Nava to swing at that. Not a bad pitch because it's got good tight rotation. Nava laid off it.
Presley got the first out of the inning on his first pitch thrown. Now 9 pitches later, still looking to get an out. That slider gets a foul ball.
Yeah, Nava, 33 years old, originally signed by the Red Sox out of independent baseball back in 2008. So a guy that utilized independent league. Dyson going over a pitching chart, maybe a Presley, but also Boshears as he's warming up.
Another 2-2 to Nava.
I appreciate that, Dyson, man. Thank you.
And a slider. That cracked his bat. He's going to get a new one.
Well, his first at bat as a Kansas City Royal has been a good one.
2017 season tickets are on sale. You can choose from our full season, partial season, or the ever popular flex plan. All season ticket packages include membership in Sweet Spot, the Twins season ticket benefits and rewards program. Go to twinsbaseball.com or call 612-375-7454 for more info.
Pitch number 9 in this at bat.
Driven to right. Kepler with the catch on the edge of the track, and it was not read well by Gordon at second base. He thought that ball was going to hit the wall, and so he's unable to advance. 2 down.
A little base running mistake by Gordon, but he's still in scoring position. And Nava had a really good at bat. Paul Molitor coming out with Boshears in the bullpen.
When Kepler was hitting all those home runs, when we've talked about Brian Dozer, we've talked about a hitter getting the ball with backspin. Nava hit that ball very hard, but without the backspin, and that's what allowed Kepler to make the catch. Presley leaves. Boshears will try to get Dyson. Ball pretty hard.
Yeah, this ball, we saw a couple breaking balls down. This one left up a little bit, but well, I tell you what, 9-pitch at bat to Nava. Nava had a good swing right there. Now watch the ball hit sharply, and Gordon's thinking, well, it's going to go off the wall, but by the time he got back, that ball was hit very, very sharply. It got to Kepler very quickly. So Gordon stays at second base. Buddy Boshears was making his third appearance since being activated off the disabled list with that sore left elbow. Has pitched well so far 2 times in that Chicago White Sox series. Total of 2 1/3 innings. No walks with 3 strikeouts. No hits allowed.
Playing percentages that in a small sample size are not there. Dyson hitting .375 against lefties, which is 24 at bats. He's got 9 hits. Chopped foul, a strike. Royals have tied it up. The Twins trying to keep this a 3-3 game until they can start swinging in the bottom of the inning. Look at the splits on Dyson.
Boshears, good fastball straight over the top, and then that hard curveball. We'll mix in a changeup here or there. He'll come right at you.
Missing inside, 1-1. Twins, we mentioned, have an 11-man bullpen now with 5 lefties: Boshears, Albers, Dean, O'Rourke, and Rogers. And another chopper, 1-2.
Boshears, 28 years old, his first season with the Twins. He's done a good job.
Right down the middle. Boshears gets the job done. The Royals get 1 but leave 2. Now tied.
Well, Brian Dozier led off the bottom of the first. Guess what? A home run. Back-to-back games that he has hit a home run leading off. Trevor Plouffe, 3 out of 3 batters later, hit a home run, made it a 2-0 lead, then a 3-1 lead by Rosario. And Santana pitched well again. 6+ innings. He gave up only 3 hits, 3 runs. He will get a no decision here because of the speed of Gore and the good timely hitting by Escobar.
And now the Twins will try to regain the lead. Dozier will hit here in the 7th. First it's Rosario, then Buxton, and then Dozier.
Well, sorry, you see him making 61st relief appearance. 4 wins, 7 losses.
And a strike. Rosario with the opposite field home run. Drew Butera does do the catching now, and Whit Merrifield in at second. One and one. I mentioned that the pinch running move, Gore for Perez, is something that might not have been done in August with fewer bench players. Ned Yost might have simply put Butera in to run for Perez to save a bench move for later, but ample number of players now. You have the freedom to substitute players with more players available to you. 1 and 2 to Rosario, and Gore's speed might have led to the tying run. Chopper to short. Escobar, bare hands, fires, got him. What a play! He barehanded it and threw on target to Hosmer. A tremendous play to get Rosario.
Well, Paul Molitor, I think, is going to take a look at this, but yeah, right. I mean, bare hands it on the run, trying to get everything he can on it. Yeah, he got him. Wow, nice defensive play. And Rosario hustling down that line. And it took a great play to get him out.
Soria helped out by his shortstop. 1 down here in the 7th. And now Buxton 0 for 2. A strikeout and a short fly ball to center. Buxton's had a relatively quiet last couple of games. He did get an infield hit and drew a walk early in the ball game last night or yesterday, and now he takes strike 1. Now Soria looks like he's hurt.
He's kind of pointing to Ned Yost and the trainer that I'm okay. Let's take a look right here.
Left knee buckled.
His landing foot maybe slipped. You know, it was raining here, and a lot of times, you know, that mound will get a little bit slippery. I don't know if he slipped on that follow through.
1 strike to Buxton. Slow breaking ball and a swing and a miss. 2 strikes.
I think he just slipped a little bit.
0 and 2. Buxton is down quickly on strikes. 2 down. And that'll bring up Brian Dozier. Nice Toyota key stat. You see the first 68 games. And Brian hitting .248, which was actually above his career high. 8 home runs, but 31 home runs in his last 66 games. And 1 already here tonight, number 39. Ball 1. And I really believe this, Bert. I think Brian's going to have to be willing now to take walks more than he's ever had to be willing to do that in the past. I don't think he's going to see pitchers attacking him. There's a strike on the outside corner, but it's an off-speed pitch.
You know, he led the ball game off bottom of the 1st for the 2nd time, 2nd day in a row with a home run. Last one to do that, Jock Jones back in 2002. Big slow curveball right there, called a strike.
1 and 1 to Dozier. Two and 1. Teams eventually got tired, and I'm not saying that Brian Dozier's the next Barry Bonds, but when he was hitting home runs at a pace like this, teams would rather walk Bonds. They did it earlier this year. Joe Madden did it to Bryce Harper. Just kept walking him. And he got a fastball and grounded it right at Escobar. And it's a 1-2-3 7th on to the 8th in a tie game.
update. The kids are back to school and the Twins are back to work, continuing their series with the defending World Series champion Kansas City Royals. Join us Wednesday night. Our coverage begins at 6:30. It's the Twins in Kansas City on Fox Sports North.
And the Twins trying to even the series at a game apiece tonight. We're tied. Buddy Boucher's left in. Did a nice job on Dyson to keep it a 3-3 game. Now Orlando, a right-handed batter, a lefty Hosmer, and a switch hitter in Morales. On the outside corner, a strike. Orlando 0 for 3, a couple of ground balls and a strikeout.
Got reports that Salvador Perez left with that right wrist contusion. That's what they.
Well, if they're calling it a contusion and not a break, then the Royals got a big break.
Yes, they did.
2 strikes to Orlando. Butera might hit this inning. He would hit 4th instead of
Eric, we got to break the lead. Come
Perez. 0-2, and now in the dirt ball.
Yeah, I mentioned, that Buddy Boucher's has done a good job since first getting called up back in May. A couple stints with the club this year, but he had that one bad outing before he went on to disable us. That game 1 against Houston in a doubleheader, gave up 6 runs in an inning and a third. And that's why that high ERA. Other than that, I think he's done a good job out of there.
Now missing outside 2-2.
I say there being the bullpen.
But now a lot of eyes on Boucher's here. He did a nice job on a pressure spot, got the Twins out of the 7th inning, but now he needs to back it up and get a couple of hitters out, at least 2 of them here in the 8th.
Nice.
Softly to Polanco.
There's 1.
1 down. That'll bring up Hosmer. Time now for greater coverage of baseball presented by T-Mobile. With a look around the majors earlier in the homestand, Byron Buxton hit a grand slam. At least 3 of them on tonight's schedule. Manny Machado should get some consideration for AL MVP. Yadier Molina with a grand slam. And Anthony Rendon with one against the Braves.
Balls flying all over the place.
Hosmer 1 for 2 with a walk.
Did you know that Jim Palmer never gave up a grand slam?
I seem to remember that.
Yeah.
1 strike to Hosmer. Two strikes.
2 good breaking balls. Boucher's 28 years old, signed by the Angels back in 2002. He, like a lot of players, he was released by the Rockies a couple years ago and pitched independent ball.
Kinsler and Light warming up. And on 3 pitches, Hosmer is gone. 2 down.
And Boucher picks up his 2nd strikeout of the 3 batters he faced. Well, good breaking ball right here. 2nd out of the inning. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express consent of the Minnesota Twins.
Couldn't do any better than what Buddy Boucher's did. Stranded a couple of runners in the 7th, got a soft line drive and a strikeout in the 8th. pitcher Brandon Kintzler. Buddy Boshears with 3 at-bats, 2 strikeouts, a broken bat line drive caught by the shortstop. Paul Molitor, if he ever, and we hope it's as soon as next year, has a full toolbox, I think he will evolve into an out-of-the-box manager. I think he likes the idea of bringing his closer in for more than just the 3 outs in the 9th inning, and that's what he's done here in a tie game to try to get the Twins to the bottom of the inning in a tie game.
Also, Brendan Kintzler coming out to redeem himself from Sunday, to where he had only his 2nd blown save in that 12-inning game. Ended up losing to the White Sox 13-11. But one of only a couple bad outings for Brandon Kintzler, so making his 46th relief appearance.
Twins swing the infield around to the right for Morales. Control was the biggest issue for Kintzler. He walked a couple, gave up a couple hits, and a fastball down and in, strike 1.
Well, in last night's ball game, Morales hitting a 3-run home run earlier, hitting a 2-run home run in the 1st inning off of Santana.
Strike 2. Right down at the knees again.
Yeah, Kintzler pretty chintzy as far as allowing home runs. That's him at his best right there. Good moving fastball down and away.
Morales hit an 0-2 pitch for a home run back in the 1st inning. Very high. Royals got the first 2 runs, then the final run to tie the game at 3 in the 7th. One and 2.
Suzuki sitting away and missing away. Don't want to make a mistake here with the rookie on deck.
Merrifield on deck. And now 3 and 2. It was 0-2, now it's 3-2. Chopper foul.
Yeah, good sinker down and away.
On the ground, 1 man over there, plenty of time to recover and make the play. Escobar makes the play, and it's a 1-2-3 8th inning.
And the Royals as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Coming up, we will have plenty of coverage in Twins Live presented by CenturyLink on home run number 39 this season for Brian Dozier. He led off this game, the second game in a row he's led off with a home run. Plus, Irvin Santana in his 6 innings. In each of his last 4 innings, he allowed the leadoff runner on, and for the most part did a good job of working around that. So we'll look at Irvin's outing, plus hear from the manager, Paul Molitor. It's all after the game. Dick and Bert.
Yeah, thank you. And I think if you're a Kansas City fan, you have to give a lot of credit to Dylan G, because he settled down nicely after giving up 3 home runs in the first 2 innings.
Royals bring their closer in, Kelvin Herrera. Wade Davis is back with them, but Herrera's closed as well. And the pitch is up, ball 1 to Polanco.
Herrera having an outstanding year, 1.74 ERA, making his 63rd relief appearance. Only 45 hits allowed in 62 innings. Only 8 walks, 76 strikeouts.
Fouled away. Polanco with a good swing and a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. 1-1. Polanco, Mauer, and Plouffe here in the Twins' 8th. That's foul. 1-2.
And you have to be ready for that fastball, and is in the upper 90s. Hard curveball and a very good changeup for Herrera. Season number 6 for him with the Royals.
And Polanco on an off-speed pitch strikes out.
There's that changeup, almost like a split finger. The ball just fell straight down.
1 down, and that'll bring up Joe Mauer, which 2 middle infielders hold the Twins' top 4 single-season RBI totals. Roy Smalley and Brian Dozier.
You notice they gave that to us when Roy Smalley was up here.
And they will have an extended chat tomorrow on the pregame show. Interview tape today. Mauer takes ball 1.
And I was going to say Nick Punto. Darn it.
One and 0. Zoilo might be in there someplace. Up and away, 2-0. Really remarkable when you think about it. Dozier with the home run, another run batted in. Might very well win the Twins triple crown here in terms of home runs batted in, and he might have a higher batting average than Mauer. 2-1. Mauer with an 0 for 3 night going, hitting at 271 right now. Dozier at 278.
Butera wanting a fastball away.
3-1. Plouffe on deck. Twins need to win a game like this. Their last 3 wins have been by scores of 11-3, 8-5, and 10-3. They need to start winning low-scoring ball games. Over the last couple of weeks, they've lost a 2-1 ball game, a 1-0 ball game. And Mauer takes a walk, and the go-ahead runs aboard with 1 out. Last time the Twins won a close, low-scoring ball game, it was the opener in Atlanta. They won 4-2. And Logan Schaefer is going to run for Joe Mauer. The Royals might have tied the game because of the inclusion of Gore's speed for the injured Salvador Perez, and now the Twins trying to follow suit. Schaefer runs pretty well, and he's aboard now with Plouffe at the plate.
And Drew Butera, an outstanding throwing arm, as we talked about behind the plate. Talked to Herrera.
See what Plouffe can get done here. He homered in the first, singled in the third, bounced to short in the 6th. lob to first. '96 on the outside corner. Now missing 1-1. Signs from the manager to Gene Glenn, back across the diamond to Schaefer.
Well, Herrera doesn't bring that left knee up very much. He'll utilize that slide step going toward home plate. Twins looking for a gapper off the bat of Plouffe. Utilize Schaefer's speed.
1-1. Line foul.
Watch out.
And it's 1-2. Plouffe heading back to the on-deck circle. I guess he cracked his bat. Well, that's not the problem. Trevor may have tweaked something. He's done. That swing, and remember, he's had oblique issues. He's unable to complete the at-bat. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Lanny Tucker right there. He kind of pointed at his left oblique area.
He had that injury, was on the disabled list. He broke a rib on that side. And with a 1-2 count, someone else is going to have to inherit the at-bat. It's going to be Kenny Vargas who will hit. This is certainly a move that would not have been made a week ago. Not just because Vargas wasn't here a week ago, but it would have been Sano pinch hitting straight up. Now the Twins have the luxury of inserting the switch hitter.
Let's
go back to Plouffe's 6th inning at bat. Run out of the box particularly well.
I might have felt it there.
Yeah, a little bit of a grimace.
He tried to play through it before, and right there, that swing right there, you can see, ow, something happened.
And now Vargas to center. Coming in is Dyson for out number 2. So Vargas, with a 1-2 count, ends up flying to center, and that'll bring up Max Kepler. Kepler with a single his first time up, then a fly to right and a grounder to third. Twins need a jolt here. They've got a speedy runner at first. Kepler's been a pretty good clutch hitter with 59 runs batted in and a delayed strike call by Chris Siegel. One strike. And now a ball. Sometimes managers with 2 outs are a little more aggressive. Let's see if the Twins send Schaefer here. Short lead. And Kepler squirts one to the outfield grass where Escobar makes the catch. Herrera has a scoreless 8th, and we head to the 9th, tied at 3. Kinsler will pitch top of the 9th inning. Nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason as they team up for FS1's daily sports talk show. Speak for yourself. Weekdays at its new time at 4 p.m. Central. Kenny Vargas stays in at first base. So it is a 1-for-1. I thought maybe Sano, and that was of course thinking that Plouffe was playing at third base, but he was at first, so Vargas will stay in the game. Merrifield will hit leading off the 9th.
Yeah, Merrifield just called up a couple 4 days ago. Had an earlier stint with the Royals.
He won't get a double between Escobar and the line, and instead he flips one to right. That'll die in front of Kepler. Another leadoff base runner for the Royals at Merrifield, singling to start the 9th.
Left fielder Alex Gordon.
And now Alex Gordon, who has struck out and walked twice. Of course, a ground ball pitcher and is quite capable of getting a ground ball double play here. Outside a ball. Merrifield with 5 steals and 7 tries.
Now, 5 double plays turned behind Kinsler so far this year.
One and one to Gordon. 2-1. And a base hit to right. Merrifield will fly around second on his way to third. Gordon hooking a soft line drive into right field. The Royals are in business here in the 9th.
We kind of highlighted Gordon in our pregame, how hot he has been over the last month or so. Got a pitch up, hit it softly into right field, picks up his first hit. Off the plate, that sinker, he went down and pulled that ball into right field. And Merrifield, with his speed, hustles over to third.
Cuthbert the batter. Twins have the infield in. First and third, nobody out. Ball 1. Cuthbert 0 for 3. A couple of lineouts and a strikeout. Time for the old ground ball to third, throw to second, and then get the runner at home double play that the Twins pulled off against the Royals in '87. Down and away, 2-0. Last home game of the year in '87. Twins had been beaten soundly on Friday night and Saturday night, and I still maintain you were on the mound that day. O'Rourke getting loose. That was a huge momentum changer rather than giving up that first inning run.
Yes, it was.
3-0. Escobar on deck. Kinsler with 15 pitches, only 7 strikes.
Yeah, we saw that a little bit here on Sunday against the White Sox, where he struggled a little bit.
And outside he missed with 4, and they're loaded up. And now Escobar.
And Neil Allen will go out and talk to Brandon. Yeah, Kinsler's not really a strikeout pitcher. He's a control type pitcher.
Yoga Night at Target Field, presented by Mayo Clinic, coming up Thursday, September 15th. It's a special ticket package that includes an exclusive Twins branded yoga mat, a game ticket for the Mariners series in the next homestand, September 23rd to the 25th, and a donation to the Twins Community Fund. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit twinsbaseball.com/yoga. Going to have it out in the outfield. Obviously, the Twins are on the road. It'll last about an hour, a yoga class. Force anywhere, and the force needs to be at home with Escobar coming to the plate. Drove in the tying run with a single in the 7th. There's the outside corner, and Escobar looks away in disgust.
I think somewhere in this at-bat, Kinsler has to run that pitch in, and the pitcher's pitch. Perfect pitch. Down and away.
And now 2 strikes.
Both pitches down. Escobar, one of these guys that likes to extend those arms. I'm talking about that sinker down and in. That ball, he tried to get in. It didn't have that two-seam type spin on that ball.
Escobar strikes out about once every 6 times. He's got 2 strikes. And Polanco will fire home. They'll get the force. Another weakly hit ball, and that's how the Royals have built this rally. And this one headed up the middle. Polanco scooting to his left and then throwing on target to Suzuki.
I just finished saying you got to pitch this guy inside. He does. He jams him. And Polanco, good play. Force out at home as Suzuki keeps that right foot on home plate for the force out.
And now Drew Butera. Butera having a career year offensively, hitting .261 with some pop. There's 92 at bats.
Watch the bunt here too.
Down the middle, a strike. Problem with bunting is it's a force play again.
Could be a squeeze.
One strike to Butera. Inside, a ball. Butera 25 strikeouts, 92 at bats. Again, with Kinsler, you wouldn't expect a strikeout. You'll take one, but you wouldn't expect one here.
World champs, come on.
Butera in the game because Salvador Perez left the game with a bruised right wrist. 1-1. And now 1-2. Kinsler does have 31 strikeouts in 46 and a fraction innings. I'd be hard pressed to tell you, however, what his strikeout pitch is. Fastball down and away.
Well, he's used that sinker down and in too. That pitch.
Base hit right field. Butera comes through. Gordon scores. Cuthbert will be held, and Drew Butera with 2 strikes delivers one of his biggest hits of the year.
Yeah, that pitch left up. I think Kinsler again wanted that 2-seamer down and in. He's picked up some strikeouts that way, but a ball up and Drew fought it off. Suzuki wanted it in. He just left it up, and Drew hitting it the other way.
Nice job, guys.
Kinsler will check out of the game. He faced 6 batters and retired just 2 of them. And the Royals take their first lead since the first inning. Kinsler with back-to-back disappointing outings. And the Royals have a lead with 1 out, top of the 9th. Infield in the 8th in good shape. Gave up a couple of soft hits, 3 hits at all, and a walk, and at least 1 run in the 9th. Ryan O'Rourke will try to limit the damage.
Yeah, Ryan O'Rourke worked 3 times in that Chicago White Sox series, 2 1/3 innings total. Only allowed 1 hit with 4 strikeouts, making his 17th relief appearance.
Twins have to have the infield in again with Dyson at the plate. Drew Butera with a big hit to put the Royals in front. Cleveland has lost tonight. No chance for the Royals to pick up a game on Cleveland, but they're of course more liable to get in if they get in through the wild card door. And a foul off of Suzuki's mask. And he may have recut his chin. Remember, he suffered a cut on his chin. And Paul Molitor.
His jaw.
Just a couple of weeks ago, he actually had stitches in his chin. I don't see an open wound, although Lanning Tucker looks like he's trying to open up a bandage to put on there. And you can see it is bleeding. And wasn't even right on the bottom part of the mask, more on the left side. Let's take a listen. And that, of course, is the greatest fear for Suzuki and the Twins, that the injured area would be re-injured. He's put some padding on, a bandage of some sort, and let's go play. And now another force play at home, and Suzuki has to stretch a bit with Dozer's throw sailing on him again a little bit. No chance to get a double play, but that's the second out.
I remember had a little wet turf here with that rain, and that ball, Brian kind of going back, kind of put his hand down his legs a little bit, but good job by O'Rourke. Good slider. Only batter he faces, gets it out.
Pat Light will try to finish off the top of the 9th. Is still loaded now, 2 down, and Pat Light will come in for the second night in a row to face the Royals. Gave up a couple of hits, retired a couple of batters, walked a couple of guys. It was a kind of a mixed bag, and it's not really what you want when you're a relief pitcher. You don't want a mixed bag.
Well, again, this is a situation that you're put into. They see how Pat Light responds. This is September. Twins looking for bullpen help next year. We'll see how he does here. Bases loaded, 2 outs.
And now Orlando with the bases loaded. The Twins got light, they thought they were getting a reliever that threw in the upper 90s, and Light hasn't thrown many fastballs at all. There's one grounded to right, a base hit, and 2 runs are going to come in, and the Royals open up a 3-run lead. Light threw the fastball, and Orlando spanked it into right field for a 2-run single.
Yeah, fastball left up right there. As Escobar and Butera score the 2nd and 3rd runs of the inning. So credit Orlando taking that pitch the other way, driving in a couple runs, picking up his 33rd and 34th RBIs of the year.
And now Hosmer. Royals with 1 in the 7th, tie it now 3 here in the 9th. And you look up and the other guys suddenly have 6 runs. First 3 runs charged to Irvin Santana. He gave the Twins a quality start, and the Twins have hit 3 home runs, but they came early in the ball game. Well, somebody's going to have to do some hitting late in the ball game, or it'll be another loss to Kansas City. Huge lead at third base for Dyson. Splitter missing, ball 1. Splitter will go anywhere from 82 to 88, but again, the Twins are puzzled as to why Light is not throwing as hard as advertised. Outside is the call, and it's 2-0. And a chopper up the middle for another base hit. If that's the fastball and it's 91 miles per hour, that's a far cry from 98 and 99.
Oh, you wonder if that split finger takes away some of the fastball, but right there he fell behind an account, had to come in with a fastball, and Hosmer picks up his 2nd hit of the ball game and also his 88th RBI.
4 across for the Royals. It's not even a save situation for Wade Davis. Now 1st and 3rd. 9th man to bat is Kendrys Morales. And for Kinchler, he's been charged with 3 runs in the ball game. Actually, he'll be charged with 4 runs, I believe. All 4. O'Rourke got it out when he was in there. Batter reached on a fielder's choice. So all 4 runs will be charged to Kinchler.
Sorry, guys. Got this. This is easy now.
Big swing by Morales right there, fouling it straight back.
And that's what the Twins have seen, 93 and occasionally 94. I don't think they've seen 95 from Light. Two strikes with 2 outs. And Splitter off the plate. Two and 2.
Light came up earlier this year with the Boston Red Sox, made 2 relief appearances. They did not go well. His 7 earned runs allowed in 2 2/3 innings.
Runner goes, and the pitch hit to the gap in left center. A deep drive to the bullpen, a 3-run home run. And Morales got a splitter out over the plate and drove it a long way to left center field.
A third home run in the series for Morales. A 3-run home run in last night's ball game. A 2-run home run first inning to give the Royals an early 2-0 lead. And now another 3-run home run.
And another ball game where the other team scores 10 or more runs.
Well, that's that splitter you saw, almost like a knuckleball. Morales waded back and hit it into the bullpen.
The Twins get a quality start, and the Royals still have 10 runs. 7 runs for Kansas City here in the ninth. And that'll bring up Merrifield, who started this inning with a base hit. Ball 1.
The 17th time he has had a multi-home run.
One 1-0. And now 2-0.
Got a report on Trevor Plouffe, left the game with a left oblique strain.
Okay. And Suzuki trying to get Light back in the strike zone here, trying to get the Twins off the field. It's been an awful inning, excuse me. When Morales played for the Twins, he had 154 at bats and hit 1 home run, and he's hit 2 against them here tonight. Three and 0. JT Chagua getting loose in case Light can't immediately get this inning ended, and that one lands on the left-handed batter's box.
Merrifield, who started this inning off, and Paul Molitor will be coming back out again and taking Light out of the ballgame.
Merrifield takes a walk. Paul Molitor's seen enough, and JT Chagua will be pitching next for the Twins. And the Royals have blown it wide open in the 9th inning. Royals tied it up, scoreless 8 for both teams. And now a 7-run 9th inning, and JT Chagua will try to get the Twins off the field.
Yeah, JT coming in. He worked a shutout inning last night. Threw 15 pitches, 11 strikes. Has to get the final out here at the top of the 9th inning, where the Royals have put a big crooked number on the board, a big 7. Take a 10-3 lead.
Gordon singled to right against Kinsler earlier this inning. Swing and a miss, strike one. Chagua has not pitched well, but he has shown the velocity that came with him with his promotion at 97 miles per hour. But off the plate. 1-1.
I think that's what we've seen from Chagua. We've seen a great arm. I mean, he's got the velocity, but lack of control. 11 walks in 12 2/3 innings.
96 on the edge, and it's 1-2. Gordon doesn't like the call.
Jaguar's breaking ball like a slider, hard slider. He misses with that changeup.
2-2. On the ground to Dozer. Fastball in a good spot too, down and away, 97 miles per hour. But Drew Butera got the big hit of many in a 7-run inning. Solo home runs for the Twins. That's been it in terms of run production over the course of the ball game. Joe Mauer was taken out. Trevor Plouffe walked off after pulling an oblique, and the Royals will send Flynn out to try to set the Twins down in the 9th inning with a 7-run lead.
Yeah, Brian Flynn worked in yesterday's ball game, last night's ball game. 1 inning, 1 hit. He did have a walk. He hit a batter, making his 29th relief appearance.
Outside, ball 1. Escobar with a couple of hits, then Suzuki and Rosario. Popped up, backing out of play.
Well, again, the Royals, I think, will look at this ball game, and yeah, they scored 7 in the 9th to take that 10-3 lead, but the Twins had an early, 3-2 lead. And Dylan G didn't look like he was going to last too long in the ball game. And after that, he pitched 4 shutout innings after the 2nd inning. He kept them in the game.
Yeah, gave up. All the Twins have since the Rosario home run leading off the 2nd are 2 singles and a walk, and nobody's even touched second base.
Right.
1-2. 2-2.
Talked about Flynn last night, a big man, 6'7", about 250. When he gets over that pitching rubber, utilizes that pitching rubber, and then works on that pitch down just like that. Nasty pitch. Flynn picks up a strikeout.
Time now for What's Next, brought to you by CenturyLink. Danny Duffy's emerged as one of the better pitchers in the league. He'll pitch for Kansas City, and Kyle Gibson, who's done pretty well in his career against the Royals, needs to step up and give the Twins a really good chance to win that ball game.
And Duffy's had a couple poor outings in his last couple starts. Prior to that, he was unhittable. But for Kyle Gibson, yeah, Twins need a quality start.
John Ryan Murphy's going to hit in Suzuki's spot. Suzuki talking to Gibson. Might be that Suzuki will get some time off. The Twins, of course, have Murphy and Santana. And Suzuki has recut his chin. Foul ball in the 9th inning. 1-0 to Murphy. Fly ball to center. And that'll chase Dyson back, but well short of the track. 2 down. And that'll bring up Robbie Grossman. Rosario hit a home run down the left field line in the 2nd, then a strikeout and a ground out. Grossman told me today his back is fine, or the oblique area that he kind of tweaked a little bit a week or so ago.
He pinched it in last night's ball game, ended up getting hit by a pitch by Flynn.
Up and away, ball 1. Two and 0.
Let's go, Twins!
Popped up near the Twins dugout, but it is back and out of play. Two and 1.
And for Grossman as a pinch hitter, 0 for 2 as a right-handed hitter, hitting from the best side so far this year, hitting .347.
And Grossman with another foul back, far away from Dan Gladden's metallic glove.
Hey, what a missed it in.
2 and 2. And a called 3rd strike. Now the Twins had a low-scoring game and looked in. Well, they were in position to win the ball game, but then the Royals scored a lot late, Anthony, and it's another big number put up by the Twins pitching staff.
And another big number put up by the Royals against the Twins. They've now beaten Minnesota 13 of 15 this year. 10-3 the final. Lost in all this, another home run for Brian Dozer. We'll break down the Royal eruption in the 9th and hear from Paul Molitor next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink.